Hey guys, we are back. Alright, short little respite since the last few games I've posted. I've actually been playing a ton online, and I have a new deck, although that is just a teaser because the new deck will be coming up in a few more games. These are actually some games that I'm just cleaning out of my archive before the recordings are lost. This particular one was played back a little over a month ago, back in mid-December. And I was actually tinkering around for a little while in the 1v1 commander format using Breya, after my friend and fellow deck builder Nate Prodzik had concluded that the Breya deck didn't really work very well in 1v1. Actually, I guess that's not entirely fair. He felt that it worked, but that the strategy was really muddy. So he kind of discontinued playing it, and he switched back to playing regular multiplayer commander, where it's extremely hard to get games, although if you're patient, you can get games. I'm up against this guy, Shai Hulud. And again, I'm running with Breya. And it turns out that Shai Hulud is also running with Breya. So we've got the Breya mirror match, I guess is that what you call it, the big Breya battle. I have an awesome draw, and I think, I can't recall if I'm going first here, but with Dark Confidant and Force of Will and Brainstorm, you're looking pretty damn good. This is one of the tech cards in the deck. Throne of the High City, a little sketchy to play in some decks, but in a deck that's so good at defending itself with creatures as Breya is, this card can often just run away with the game. And, yeah, here we get going. Okay, it looks like I'm first as well, just to compound the awesomeness of this draw. I believe I'll have a tutor effect later on. I can show you just a few adjustments to this deck between it and the multiplayer list. So Shai's playing over in the Catacombs, fetches up Scrubland, and duresses me turn 1. I'm very, very glad to have Brainstorm in here in my hand, because that'll allow me to protect Force of Will. And off this, I can't really... I suppose I could put back Mana Vault and Force of Will. I actually fully expected him to... I fully expected him to take Teachings if I kept the Mana Vault in my hand, just seeing the rest of my hand and how useless it was. So with that in mind, I just put back a land and the Force. And he took the Mana Vault. Not too terrible of a choice, I suppose. It would allow me to activate the Throne of the High City really quickly before we even get going. And even though that would set me back a land drop, it could prove to be pretty devastating. There's the Force back in my hand, which he doesn't know I have. Just going to play Mr. Dark Confidant, fully intending to Force a Will here in order to protect the Dark Confidant against just about anything. And all he's got is a Dimmer Signet. So that's no big deal at all. My turn. And I reveal Swords to Plowshares. Super awesome. Actually, I guess I revealed Volcanic Island that I had put back with the Brainstorm, and then there's Swords on top. Looking really good. Perfect mana as well. Can't complain about the draw at all. It's just a matter of whether or not he's going to play Breya on this next turn. If he were to play Breya, I would absolutely just Swords to Plowshares it. I would not Force a Will it. There's no reason to worry about the counters. And then he casts Liliana of the Last Hope, which is a perfect answer to Dark Confidant as well as future Breya tokens, and that is certainly worth forcing, because I just want to keep the Dark Confidant train going. Revealing Duretti. God, this guy's so good. I played a whole bunch of games with Nate yesterday, actually, and Duretti was just absolutely backbreaking every single time it's played. This card is just it's totally insane. Easily the best Rakdos card in Commander, I think. I can't really think of a Rakdos card that's even close in power level. Yawgmoth's Will shows up. That's super nice with both Brainstorm and Vault in the graveyard. Attack for 2. Not sure why he tapped his mana that way. He could have used a Dimmer Signet and kept, I don't know, Reflecting Pool untapped or something. I'm just gonna, without any worry at all about Spell Pierce or something, I'm gonna just throw down Duretti. Make a token. God, he's just so delicious. So facing the Duretti, I fully expect him to just play Breya here and hope to kill it with Thopters. And he's got the mana to do it. Instead he plays Palace Jailer. Quite interesting. I guess he just figures this might be an opportunity where I'm not able to take back the Monarch from him. Where if he gets the Monarch, that obviously answers the Dark Confidant. And then he can play Breya next turn and start drawing extra cards off the Monarch. Palace Jailer is just not so card that we've stopped using because it was just inconsistent trying to get the double white mana, although the card is still extremely high power level and very good. So end of turn, I'm just going to Plowshare the Jailer. And I'm doing that because I don't want to put pressure on my tokens, and I don't really feel that the swords is going to be all that useful right now anyway. I just would rather get it out of my hand. Plus, I've got Yawgmoth's Will to play it later on in the event that he does play Breya. I just kind of want to get it in the graveyard. Alright, so I'm going to blow up one of his signets using my construct. Perfect opportunity to take... Yeah, that's right. So the other reason why I'm also swordsing the Palace Jailer is because I'm intending to get my Throne of the High City. I'm intending to get the Monarch back, which immediately also, of course, gets the Dark Confidant back, which isn't a thing that you see very often. Once Palace Jailer comes down, you're kind of used to just thinking the creature's exiled forever, but it is in fact just exiled until you regain the Monarch. So now I'm the Monarch, and I've got a Dark Confidant back, which is pretty sick. I don't have to worry about chump blocking the Palace Jailer with my Dueling tokens either. And I draw Dak Faden off of the Monarch effect. Completely insane card in this matchup. Plays Mana Vault, bolts away Dueling. And continuing on with the great answers, he's got a Vindicate also against the pesky Dark Confidant. But he does not have an answer to the Monarch currently. And he plays last card in his hand, which is the Temple. Alright, so I've got a couple of choices here. I could play Yawgmoth's Will, and that would allow me to play a land from the graveyard, and Mana Vault, Dark Confidant, and Brainstorm, which is pretty solid, but I kind of don't feel like I have a real particular urgency for that right now, and I think just getting Breya on the board to shore up my defense to keep the Monarch flowing is probably a better plan, and just wait to get more mana before I unleash the Yawgmoth's Will, because Yawgmoth's Will could cast at least 4 or 5 cards if I get enough mana to play with it, which is pretty insane. Draw another card off the Monarch. It's back to his turn. He's running out of options really quickly. Of course, he's going to play his Breya now. He taps his Mana Vault and offs my Breya before I have the ability to use it. Which is not a bad play, and it does at least get some use out of that Mana Vault. And he's got 2 more mana. 3 in action. Oh, what's he playing here? Oh yeah, he plays his Jace Rin's Prodigy. So certainly very, very powerful if it's allowed to untap, and he's allowed to use it once because he's got, I don't know, Lightning Bolt and Vindicate in the graveyard. But little does he know, I have arguably the best commander or the best Planeswalker in all of EDH in my hand. Mighty Dak Faden. I draw Vandal Blast too, which would clear away most of his creatures, although it would leave the Jace active, but there's no reason to even screw around with that. With only 1 mana on his side of the board, I'm going to take his Breya. And now I can use my 2 Thopters to kill off his Jace, and I still have his Breya, and he's all but out of the game. And recognizing that, Shai Hulud packs it in. This wasn't obviously that close of a game, I think, just based on my start, but I thought it was kind of an interesting interplay of Breya versus Breya. I don't really think that there was a ton of really high-level decision-making to make this game. I was never really terribly far behind, but I thought it was just an overall neat game of back and forth to demonstrate the Breya mirror match and some of the choices that we've made. Obviously, I don't run this guy, don't run the Lightning Bolt. I don't think I'm running Duress either, and I'm not running Jace. And his mana base is clearly different from mine. But pretty cool game regardless, lots of interactivity, and I've got more games to come. Stay tuned for those. See you soon.